And joining us at this time is NWF's own headliner, Shaun Evans. Shaun, good afternoon. How you doing?
How's it going, guys?
Doing great. So thank you for coming on our show here. So if I haven't heard this correct, you're coming up on 15 years of wrestling in NWF?
Yeah. September of this year will be 15 years.
Wow. That's a lot of wrestling. Can you take us back and maybe in more of a comparison to how wrestling was 15 years ago today in training than today, what you see today in training wise?
The trainings were, I wouldn't say they were less or more, but they were just different. There were a lot more of the main guys that would be involved in training back then, like Russ, T-Money, Stewie Backlund. They were at trainings every night, so you got to train with the top guys that were on the shows every single training night. And now one of the head trainers now is Pompano, which is amazing for young guys because Pompano Joe is one of the best technical wrestlers I've ever been in the ring with. Swinger's involved. Swinger's a great trainer. But of course you always have Roger Ruffin. So that's never changed. So you always have Roger as the head trainer.
Yeah. Well, you also got I believe you got Chris Harris right now kind of overlooking things and, helping out the younger guys as well, which is another huge advantage for what NWF is putting out there, because they're putting out some incredible, some really incredible matches.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely helps having Wildcat there. As back then we didn't have him because he was doing bigger things back then.
Oh, what made you want to be a wrestler?
I always grew up with wrestling. My mom went to high school with Brian Pillman. So, wrestling's just always been there for me. My mom was into it. My family was into it. And 15 years ago, my best friend, who is Crazy Ed, was doing it. And, he just told me, he's like, one day you got to come check out one of these shows. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I didn't know anything about local wrestling shows back then. And I went to a show in Walton, Kentucky, and that was on a Saturday night. And Monday I joined the company.
Oh, wow. And basically that's, I mean, and have you only competed for, wrestled for NWF, or you've been able to grow outside NWF?
I do a lot. I've wrestled, I wrestle a lot for DCW up in towards Dayton, Kentucky, which is Mr. Reality Check.
Yeah.
I wrestle in West Virginia. I've wrestled in Texas for Palais Pro. So, I mean, I try to get out as much as I can, but, it's a hard world.
Well, there's a huge difference between, I guess, working for a company like AEW or WWE, and especially and then compared to NWF, you guys really gravitate on getting that one-on-one interaction, whether it's a good thing or it's a bad thing with those fans. I know since day one, there's been a lot of heckling that we've been giving you, especially teaming up with the great King Titan. But just how, I mean, is that something that just organically comes out of you? Do you have to mentally prepare for that? I mean, it looks like you really enjoy doing what you're doing on the heel side of NWF.
Oh, no, that's not a character. I'm that way in real life. Like, if you're not one of my close friends, I'm probably not a nice person to be around.
Oh,
like that I don't have to get in character for that. It's getting in character is being nice to people.
Is that why you're a bully to me?
I'm a bully to everyone. My own kid is at shows and I'm not nice to her.
So how does that do you your kid kind of does go to shows from time to time. How does that do you like, okay, I got to watch myself when you're out there in the ring? Is there just no limits? And, you know, she sees and hears what she sees and hears, or
No, she knows.
she knows?
She knows that her dad's a bad guy.
Okay.
Um, it was tough at first. You know, when she was first coming to shows,
Yeah.
she didn't really understand why, and she would actually cry a lot. But she's gotten into it. She actually, her favorite wrestler is Andrew Reed.
Okay.
So you can tell. I mean, she's not a big fan of the good guys at all.
And she's gravitated to it. I think she's been. I've seen her around. She's kind of even been encouraging other people to, you know, root for, you know, you, or, you know, guys like Andrew. You know, the bad guys.
Yeah.
You know, you lately have been seen working with the Great King Titan for quite some time. How did that relationship form?
Oh man, that relationship goes back. It's actually funny because that Walton show that I went to as a fan, I was sitting in the front row and got a picture of me while sitting at the show, and Titan was in front of me, and that was my Facebook picture. And he always gave me crap about, you know, being a mark and having him as my profile picture as a fan.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what really started our friendship. And he's just always been my closest friend. Like there's no one that I would call before him if I needed anything.
Now, it's obviously both over the time you guys have recently been just ended an involvement with you and Great King Titan with the whole Mr. Juice situation. There was a moment where, you know, just filling in some back content, where Juice was suspended for 90 days, and then this Mr. J comes around, and you were determined to unveil him. That unfortunately got you into some trouble with some other group of people. What are you getting?
Man,
I have to bring it up. I mean, what are you doing? You're down $1,000. You owe Anika and Sinclair Bentley $1,000. How is that working out?
well, it's not working out. I try to avoid Sinclair as much as possible. You know,
Anika's down at Disneyland, so don't worry about her.
Yeah, I mean, but if you remember, I did the Super Bowl match with Joe Pro James, and Anika tried to help me, and I don't know what her thought. Well, if I won the match, was it going to be a payday for her? I don't know what she was thinking, but I didn't lose that match. She lost it for me.
Yeah, that's. Oh gosh. Now, I mean, are you and I mean, is Titan helping you out with this, guiding you through, or is he like you're on your own paying him back?
You know, that's where I'm questioning how tight our friendship is, because I've asked him to help me and I have not gotten a response from him yet.
I've been reaching out, offering to put up a GoFundMe account for that.
It's got to be like I'm MCE is a group that one group in the NWF that I don't want to mess with. I mean, I'm a pretty tough person, but Krista Mize, Alex Hayden,
Tiny Tim.
Warlock. I mean, there's so many guys in there that I need to figure out how to settle this debt.
They're literally putting people on the shelves, and I don't want to see them put you on a shelf for any length of time. One of my favorite things coming to an actual NWF event is to see you, make headlines, each and every time. Take you back to the Rumble. You and Great King Titan were in the ring for a period of time together. You guys were actually focusing on Rex for a good amount of that time. Was there a game plan going in as a team, and then was there a personal game plan for you going in, saying, "Hey, okay, if it came down to maybe you and Titan, that you would have to do something that you probably didn't want to do"?
I mean, I wouldn't say that there was a game plan per se. I mean, it's a Rumble. So, anytime you've ever seen a Rumble, it's every man for himself. There's no teaming. But when someone that you can trust is in the ring, obviously, you're going to try to work together. If you watched, I helped him with Mr. Destiny.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, Rex is one of those guys where no matter who's in the ring, if you're in there and you see Rex is in there, you know, you've got to be smart and try to work together. I mean, there were different times where, you know, Nasty Russ and I were teaming up on him. You know, it's just Rex is that guy in the ring that no one person can truly stop him other than Adam Swayze.
Any point in that match, did you think about eliminating Titan?
No, that never crossed my mind.
Even if it did, I don't think he could say that out loud.
Eliminating Titan was never one of my plans.
So I believe you were eliminated before the whole incident happened, but looks like Titan got his actual results himself, pulling off the mask and revealing Juice as Mr. J. How did you feel
I mean, I've been
that,
saying it.
knowing that you tried and you unfortunately failed? And
I mean, yeah, I will admit that I did not get the job done against Mr. J in multiple chances. But I mean, we've been saying it since day one that Mr. J was Juice. Like it's, you know, it sounded like a broken record at times. And, you know, obviously I never got the job done taking the mask off. But I mean, we all told you.
that is true. You did tell us. We refused to listen, so I do apologize for not putting in our trust into your guys' hands. All right, so you've been wrestling for NWF for almost coming up 15 years. Is there any accomplishments or any goals that you have not yet reached or accomplished that you want to look forward to in the near future?
I mean, the obvious goal is I've never held a singles title in the NWF. I was a tag team champion for 1 week.
1 week.
Yeah, 1 week. But I've never held singles title in the NWF, and that is something that I do want to accomplish before my time is up. Other than that, all of my goals were to be in the ring with the guys that I looked up to when I started. And this year I actually finalized that with Nasty Russ getting to be on a team with him.
And I'm sure the favor now is in return. There's going to be a lot of people that's in the, you know, Bone Crushers, you know, working to look up to you and wanting to be in the ring with you at some point also. Hopefully they get a chance to do that.
I mean, that would be amazing if that's something that someone comes up to me and says, you know, I really want to share the ring with you. Like, obviously that would mean a lot to me, but, you know, I'm just a future star like everybody else. You know, I left the company. I came back as a future star, and, you know, I feel like it made my career better going back through the future stars, because I wasn't really doing a very good job before I left. And I got to come back, and I feel like I just started fresh, and now I consider myself one of the top future stars, but there's definitely some guys that I want to face.
So what was the most difficult thing for you to get into wrestling?
The most difficult part getting into,
or to become a wrestler?
The stage fright was a big part for me. As back then I wasn't good being in front of people, and, you know, over the years I've kind of gotten more relaxed with that. But when I first signed up, and, you know, your promo day and your first day of training, you got to cut a lot of promo.
Yeah,
I didn't do very, even in front of just the other wrestlers was very hard for me to do.
Oh gosh, I would be terrified. I still get terrified even doing a program like this. But so NWF's working on their own, they're building themselves up. How much does NWF or maybe you look towards to learn off of maybe just even watching a show that's on television, such as, you know, maybe WWE, AEW, you know, Impact? Do you guys, I mean, are you sitting there, are you studying, watching, hey, what can I bring to NWF as well? how does that go about? Or are you just focusing on whatever NWF does?
No, I mean, I definitely focus on what the NWF does more than anything. But I mean, almost every wrestler is a wrestler because they were a fan at one point in their life. So yes, I do watch WWE, I watch AEW, I watch New Japan. I try to find guys that I can use as my style, not per se steal their moves or their entrances or stuff like that, but just, ideas of what can make my character take it to that next level.
Currently, right now, we have, and from my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, we have 3 current singles titles right now held for the men's side in NWF. We have the Swinger, Sinclair, and then now Hollywood. Is that correct, or is there any more I'm forgetting about?
James Cross.
James Cross. I'm sorry, I did forget about him. Right now, if you got a title opportunity, you got to choose what title you go to face and who you go to face. Right now, who would it be?
I mean, I would be cliche if I didn't say I wanted Adam Swayze for the NWF title. But I mean, the Swinger, I have never beaten the Swinger one-on-one.
Okay.
So I would like to wrestle the Swinger for the Dream House title.
Is it difficult to wrestle the Swinger? I mean, knowing his style and his.
You never know what to expect when you're in the ring with the Swinger. Like you go in there and you're prepared, and then he changes the game on you the second that bell rings, and you're wondering how you got yourself in this predicament.
We got Ludlow tonight. Are you contracted for a match tonight?
I will be in Ludlow, Kentucky tonight, and that's definitely one of my favorite venues to wrestle in.
It is.
It's just a completely different crowd atmosphere there, and I don't know why it changes there over Covington, but I love wrestling at all of our events. Don't get me wrong. But Ludlow is just one of those events that the energy in that building gets you hyped up to another level.
Yeah, we went to the last event in Ludlow, and I can honestly probably say that Ludlow was probably the greatest show I've ever been to when it comes down to in-ring ability, the pop from the crowd. I mean, it was just absolutely wonderful. It makes you want to go back there each and every week, and I would go back down there too. Trey, okay, Trey has a pick with you.
I mean, going back to the crowd at Ludlow, we actually stumped James Cross. We were making fun of his shoes because they look like bowling shoes. We just absolutely loved it, and the last time we were there, I was doing you and Titan, and I was trying to get y'all's attention. I couldn't get your attention, but I got Titan's attention. And he looked back at me and said, "I'm gonna rip your head off."
Yeah. I actually believe he would do that.
It's just so loud in there, and I can't get your attention to know and to show you that I'm booing you.
Yeah, and it's not that. I mean, obviously, there's always going to be fans yelling at us when we're ringside, especially for bad guys. And it's, you hear this and you hear this, and it's hard to hear one specific person. There's especially in that venue where there's so many people yelling at one time.
I mean, another thing on top of that, I give you so much credit for it too, because you know how to place yourself when you interact yourself with the fans, and then when you interact, to keep yourself focused on the match as well as interacting with the fans. You time it so perfectly. It makes it much more enjoyable to. Honestly, it's fun to be able to heckle you in that sense, knowing that you're able to when to turn it on and turn it off when it comes down to the match.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I definitely appreciate your comments there. I feel like it sets me to the next level when the crowd is giving me that, and then I give it in return, and it makes what I'm doing so much better.
Yeah.
It's hard to wrestle. I've wrestled in front of crowds of like 6 people. So you can imagine, how easy it is when you're wrestling in front of 200 or 300. So
I mean, and I could tell you because we went to Trey and I went to our first NWF event back on the 27th of November. You were in a match, and if it wasn't for your interaction with the crowd, that really got us into everything. If it wasn't for your interaction, you setting the tone, we didn't know nobody. We didn't know you at the time. That would have it would have been to me a dead match or a dead show. And it brought it to life. So, just that, coming out, even if it's the first match on the card, being able to do that and set the tone for the rest of the night. That's something that, I believe I enjoyed each time. You excel well at each and every time you come out there.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And I absolutely love the interaction with you. I love booing you. You coming over to mess with me all the time. I just absolutely love it. And I'm going to tell you, this is my second time wearing a Shaun Evans shirt to NWF. I've never wore anybody's shirt twice to a show.
Hey, now you got to get the new colors.
I want it. Why didn't you tell me you had orange?
I was supposed to be the only one wearing it.
Well, we're gonna have to order the orange, whatever color you have. Yes. Let's get it. Let's order it. Definitely. So, all right. So you're not only $1,000 out of for Anika and Sinclair. You owe Trey 2 soda pops.
No.
That you keep on knocking down.
No, that debt was repaid at the Rumble.
But then you knocked it down again.
I didn't see that. I don't recall doing that.
You just bumped into the table and caught yourself. That's all you're doing.
That's it. Exactly. It was incidental contact.
Is there anything else big that you're looking forward to coming up here nearly that's maybe not out there that you can, reveal right now?
Yeah, actually, the Future Stars, they're coming up on their 3-year anniversary show in the month of April. I actually made my re-debut at the 1-year anniversary. So that's kind of a big deal for me as I'm really looking forward to the anniversary show. And I don't know what I'm going to be doing on the show yet, but no matter what it is, I'm going to make sure it's the best that I've done.
Do you, do we have a date for that, by the way, or is that still yet to come?
All I know is that's the end of April. I don't know an exact date. We have the Spring Fling, which will be every Friday night in April.
Okay.
And I believe the anniversary show will be the accumulation of the Friday night series.
All right.
We actually have somebody in the comments that wants to show you a comment. I want to see what your interaction is.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Bowling shoes. I assume that's James Cross.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah. James Cross is someone that one day I hope to definitely cross paths with in the Future Stars.
And I hope hopefully it's soon.
I think you should go one-on-one with Sinclair and take his title.
You want me to wrestle Sinclair?
Well, I mean, it only makes sense now. You got his $1,000, and now you could take his title from him. And I mean, you got the Great King Titan there on your side.
I know, but I would much rather Noah win and then beat Noah for the title because I don't like Noah Gabriel.
Oh, that's fair. I mean, either way, just take it from. At the end of the day, take it away from Sinclair.
Yeah,
he's had it long enough.
I would much rather beat Noah Gabriel for a belt, for no belt, just for fun.
If you do get a title, will you be willing to drop it and pull a Kevin Nash scene with either the Great King Titan or Sinclair?
I'm gonna say no comment.
No comment. Okay.
No. I can't give you a yes or no for the great King Titan, but it's probably a no.
That's that's fair enough. Well, hey, go ahead, Trey.
Have you ever wrestled Titan?
Yes. Yes, I wrestled Titan about 8 years ago, actually in Ludlow, Kentucky.
Wow.
And I believe that's the one and only time we've ever wrestled each other.
How was
And
it?
who
Was
won?
He won.
He won. Do you think if you guys went at it again, the tables will turn?
I don't know. I mean, the man's a multi-time NWF champion. You know, I'm pretty sure he's done everything there is to do in the NWF.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I would want to say that yes, I could beat him, but my gut's telling me he's too tough. You got to know your limits. You got to know, I'm a tough guy, but there's always going to be someone tougher. And I feel like for me, that's Titan.
I believe you can beat him.
I don't want to beat him though. We're friends. We're partners.
He needs to help you win a title.
I feel like you guys are trying to start something between me and him.
No. Listen. These are just curiosity questions that we have going forward to this. That's just learning much about. But Shaun, I do want to say once again, thank you for taking your time coming on our show. I know you're so busy, especially when it comes down to NWF. You do so much also behind the scene, making sure all the prep gets ready as well. You play a big portion in that. And I'm looking forward to seeing some big headlines with your match tonight.
I appreciate that. I'm hoping to make some big ones tonight.
And can you do me a favor tonight? Give Courtney some crap because she's wearing Noah, and I'm wearing your shirt.
She's wearing Noah to the show?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. I'll pour a Mountain Dew on her shirt.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
I like that. Well, hey, thank you for taking your time and coming on our show. Hopefully we get a chance to do this again real soon. But good luck tonight, and we're looking forward to seeing you.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
All right, take
We'll
care.
see you tonight.
See ya.